Hello, welcome to my weekly look ahead video. The word of the last week has been sewage. I've had lots of emails from people after the vote we had in the House of Commons on Wednesday on amendments to the Environment Bill, where I voted for an amendment which would have beefed up a bit the requirements on water companies to reduce the amount of raw sewage that goes into waterways when there's been adverse weather conditions. Can we just agree that none of my colleagues who voted the other way are in favour of dumping raw sewage into our seas and rivers? It's a question of scale, and that's why I voted for the amendment, and it's going to come back to us, and I shall do the same again, and hopefully the government will take further measures. It's taken a lot already to make sure that we are doing more and more urgently to clean up our rivers and coastline. Now, busy week in Parliament. We've had the Animal Welfare Kept Animals Bill, which is a great piece of legislation. Everybody voted for it. It's all about greater penalties for cruelty to animals and making sure that animals are looked after properly, and I know a lot of constituents support that. We've got the Judicial Revision and Courts Bill about improving the system in courts. I'll mention more about that in its later stages. We've also got an interesting debate on sustainability in the national curriculum. It's largely what I do in the I Project, and making sure that our young people are doing everything they can to help the environment, and they're aware of what can be done and what needs to be done. We've got a debate on the operation of the DVLA, which I've had a lot of complaints about. They seem to have been really underperforming, particularly during the lockdown, and there seemed to be hardly anybody at the DVLA office in Swansea. So I've been taking up a lot of complaints, and it's right that the Minister is on their case. But the big event this week, of course, on Wednesday is going to be the budget. It's going to be a big call for Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor, in really difficult circumstances, obviously after the pandemic has cost the economy an awful lot. So I will be there for the budget debate on Wednesday, and that debate goes on until Tuesday, and then we have votes on the individual measures. On Thursday, I'm hoping to take part in the debate on a report on coroners produced by the Select Committee, and in particular the role of coroners in investigating stillbirths, which was part of my private member's bill, which actually hasn't yet come into force. So I'm going to be pushing for ministers to chase it up. And then we're here again for some private member's bill business on Friday, the second Friday running, starting off with the menopause bill, which I have a good deal of support for. Labour MP Carolyn Harris, who is a great force of nature for good, is bringing in a bill which will give greater opportunities and rights for women going through the menopause, and the way employers can look after them. Not sure whether the government's supporting that bill, not all yet, but I hope there'll be some good things that we can take from it. I've just done a televised panel debate with the Spectator on everyday tips for greener living as part of their contribution to COP26 and the run-up to COP26, and I'll say more about that next week, because I'm going up to Glasgow myself at the end of the week for the COP event. I've got a meeting later in the week with the Centre for Social Justice around the Universal Credit. Home Affairs Select Committee this week, we've got Sir Tom Windsor, who's the Inspectorate of Constabularies, coming in front of us, so we'll be asking lots of questions about the police conduct, obviously some recent high-profile cases there. I've got a meeting with the Minister about access to GPs, and I'm organising a roundtable of local GPs to see how we're doing trying to get back to some degree of normality with people booking appointments face-to-face. And I've got various updates on Friday from the local CCG and the County Council around the vaccination update, and I'm just posting a blog on Facebook for some latest facts and figures on the vaccination booster programme locally, and as and when there's new news on that, I'll resume my updates on that. And then I've got a regular surgery at Sompting later this week, and you can book appointments through the office as usual. So getting back to normal at Westminster this week, but the most important business is going to be the budget, so there'll be lots in that that's going to affect my constituents, and I'll comment further next week.